Almost every gamer has a backlog, and if you don't, nice. A backlog is a collection of games you own that you haven't even played or beaten. They could get pretty big if you're stocking up on games every time a Steam sale comes around. My backlog used to be pretty big until I started actually playing my games. And why buy games if you're not playing them? So here are some tips on how to actually get through your games more efficiently. I suggest you prioritize having fun though rather than finishing games. If you're not enjoying a game, simply just don't play it. The first thing before even looking at what to play is just stop buying games. It really is that simple sometimes. The reason you have a backlog is because you keep buying games. New releases are coming out and you are most likely getting caught up in the hype and buying them. The worst part is that you're probably paying full price, and by the time you play it, it's dirt cheap. Unless it's a deal you seriously can't pass up, like Pokemon Black 2 for $10, which is how much I got mine, then don't buy it. There will always be another opportunity to buy games on the cheap. So why buy more games when you have some that you haven't even started playing? I guarantee you probably have a game in your collection that will become one of your favorites that you haven't even considered playing, but you are too busy buying new releases that you also won't play. I know it's easy to get caught up in hype of new releases, but trust me, it's not worth it when you know they will be on sale pretty soon, and you have games you still haven't played. Choose what you're going to play and stick with it. Instead of starting a game and not even giving it a chance, actually stick with it. You will most likely get through it if you are enjoying it, instead of getting distracted by other games. Most of the time people get distracted by multiplayer games they want to play with their friends or something. If you really want to finish your games, you should stick with one game at a time, especially when you're playing something like an RPG. Their stories and game systems can be really convoluted, so if you stop playing it and come back to it, you're most likely going to be really overwhelmed by it and not want to play it ever again. Instead, if you stick with one game, you would have enjoyed it all the way through and had a full understanding of the game's story and mechanics. Stop getting on your phone. Trust me, whatever is on your phone is probably a lot less interesting than whatever game you're playing. So why even look at your phone when playing a game? And you wonder why it takes you so long to get through a game. Because half of the time you're scrolling through Twitter or something. You'll also enjoy the game a lot more if you focus your full attention to it. Also, your attention span is probably going down by always looking on your phone, making it so you can't even focus on a singular game. Even if you do finish the game, you'd probably be left wondering what you even played, because you just remember being on Instagram or something. And if you're using your phone on a guide for the game, you should use another device that won't distract you as much, or even just use an old strategy guide. Don't be afraid to stop playing a game. It's simple. If you are enjoying a game, don't play it. What's the point? Even though I tortured myself and finished Final Fantasy 13, I don't regret it because of the story. But if a game doesn't have any redeeming factors for you at all, then don't play it. Cross it off your list and move on. Even if it's a game that is extremely popular and someone was begging you to play it like The Witcher 3, stop playing it. Why waste your time as well? Time is the most valuable resource we have, so why waste it on things you don't enjoy? If you are wasting your time on a game you aren't enjoying, that is time you could have been playing something that you do enjoy, so don't waste your time on shit games. Try new genres and franchises. This is a good way of not feeling burnt out. I had a phase where I really only played JRPGs, and after that I couldn't stand them. And I still had a few on my backlog. I wanted to play them, but at the same time I didn't, because I was burnt out on JRPGs. I suggest mixing up the genres and franchises you play, so you can go from FPS games to RPGs, to strategy games, to adventure games. If you do this, games will feel a lot more fresh and new every time you play them, and not repetitive. I know it really helps me a lot. Also, try new things. Even if you find out you don't like a certain franchise or genre, at least you try it out, and now you know you don't like it. You can always take something away from a game even if you didn't enjoy it. And if you try new things, you will for sure find a new franchise or game that you like. I recently tried visual novels, and now I really like games like Danganronpa and Clannad. Don't treat it like a job or a chore. It is honestly one of the worst things you could do. Yeah, I'm sure making spreadsheets and having a whole Excel sheet for your backlog works for some people, but in my opinion, that just makes it feel like a chore. So at that point, what is the point? It just feels like a job. The most you should be doing, in my opinion, is just writing down the games you have completed, so you know and can look back on what you have played recently. I don't think there is need to go over the top and writing down how much time you've played, whether you 100%ed it or not, or give it a rating. At that point, you'll be spending more time writing and thinking about what to play and what you played, rather than actually spending time playing games. Also, eventually you'll be burnt out on doing that and not even want to play games because you will associate it with work and school. I used to try to do this with howlongtobeat.com, but I really just found it boring and pointless and trying to file all the games I played into a website, so I stopped. Just have fun. This kind of related to the last one, but really, just play games and have fun. It doesn't matter if you finish it or if you play for a couple hours, as long as you're playing games. Sometimes we tend to talk about the games we want to play and games coming out more than playing games. The most important thing about this hobby is that we have fun. Your top priority shouldn't be to just tick off a game off your list. It should be to actually enjoy your games. Also, don't be afraid to go back to the games you played before, even if you already finished it. If it's a game you already know you like and want to play it, then play it. There's nothing wrong with going back to your games. You shouldn't be ashamed of all the games you haven't played if you're having a great time playing the games you are playing. Just don't complain about the games you haven't played. I'm tired of people complaining about what they haven't played, but then the same people just play the same multiplayer game every day. If you really care about playing the games, then you would play them. I don't get it. But yeah, just have fun. That should be your top priority when playing games. If it's not fun, why bother? So yeah, those were my tips on how to get through your backlog. These are things that work for me, but you might be different and do things in a different way. Like even playing 10 games at once or something. But once again, just play your games and have fun.